it and how you can do that. We are working on it to make sure that by the close of this week, what I'll be discussing here will be part of the training section. So it's still under review. Aside that, I'll just give you a brief overview of how to import external data such as shape files into your notebooks and how you can work with it. Apart from my presentation, I don't know, David or Wallace or Leti, will you be giving any other presentation also?
Not really, not today, but I think
Okay.
we will be having a different discussion because we might be closing next week for December. Then I'd like us to do a different presentation on the 18th to the whole RCMD team. So you together with maybe Hall and Dr. Mubea. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, that would be great. Then I think then you follow up after this meeting. So Ken and I and you,
yes, please.
you can meet. You can meet after this meeting to discuss about it.
Okay.
Hello, Ken.
Yes, Edward, everything is sorted. I was hearing remotely. The introductions are so nice. My name is Kenneth Ubea, user engagement. Happy to be here and welcoming Abu Kamara for the first time from Sierra Leone. He's been working very much on the water resources. And I remember he talked about the Rockell Basin in Sierra Leone. So welcome. And Edward, give us this presentation so that we are all happy and connected. Thank you.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much. So let me share my screen to give. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this presentation actually is going to deal with how to import external data. Normally, you know that when you are working with a sandbox, you normally specify your area of extent by providing the latitude and the longitude. So you provide the upper right limit, upper right bounds and the lower left bounds to get something like this beneath here. So after that, you actually define a rectangular or a square figure here. So anytime you finish doing analysis, the results normally will come in the bounding box that you define, just as you see it between here. But sometimes also you will actually appreciate it to have it in a particular shape, maybe at a district level or at a country level, so at a regional level or at a county level. To do that, you wouldn't actually need some areas because you'll be actually after a particular shape. So for instance, if you look where I've reached, we are not actually after the whole area, but we are really after a particular area that has been drawn, just as we've seen here. So that at the end of the day, we're only interested in the area that has been mapped or the area of interest. We're not actually interested in all the bounding boxes. This is also a typical example of Nairobi. Previously, you know that this is Nairobi, but because we were doing it, we specify a rectangular figure, a bounding box, which gives us area outside Nairobi. But with this one, if you actually provide a shape file or the shape of the figure you want, at the end of the day, you would actually get the size of where you want to work with. So this particular demonstration will actually take us through how to do this when we are actually using it on our sandbox. And the tutorials will also be available probably from next week or next 2 weeks going on the training section materials that is on the website for you to have more in-depth information if you want to review it also again. Okay, so normally when you're working with Sandbox, you have to import certain things. So one of the tools that you have to import will be the GeoPandas and also the geometry. Then we also import the map shape file and the XR rasterize. So the GP, the GeoPandas, that's GeoPandas and the geometry will help us load the shapefile onto the platform. So onto the notepad that we are going to use it to work. And the map to shapefile will display the shapefile for us. Sometimes if you load the shapefile, we actually want to see how the shapefile will be loaded. In our previous work, we are using the display map, whereby you provide in the longitude and the latitude, and you show us where we are going to work with. But with the shapefile, if you are using the external data sets or the shapefiles, you'll be using the map underscore shapefile. Then the XR underscore rasterize will do the clipping for us. So after getting your satellite imagery, you pick up the shapefile, then you clip out the results. Normally, the functions you will need when you want to work with the satellite imageries and the shapefiles. So the GeoPandas and the geometry will help us read the shapefile into the sandbox. Then the map shapefile will display the shapefile on the map with a base map for us to know the area or the shapefile where it falls on the map. And also the XR underscore rasterize will help us to clip out the area of interest from the satellite imagery. So the first procedure is very simple. You create a folder in your sandbox, then you copy your shapefiles into that folder. So for this tutorial, we created a folder called data at where our notebook is situated. Then there was a shapefile that was created called reserve. So that shapefile will be copied into the folder created, that is the data folder. After that, you create a variable called shapefile underscore path, then you point the path of the shapefile in the form of a string. So here, I'm telling the path to be go into the data folder, then pick the reserved of shapefile. That's all that you need. So after doing that, the next thing is to read the shapefile into a variable called GDF. So this is what we term as a variable. So a variable called GDF. So this is a variable called GDF. So remember that I told that the GDP will help us to read the shapefile. So after that, you store it here. Then you use the geometry to convert it to a format that can easily be read. That can easily be read by the notebook or the functionalities in the notebook. So after that, you point it to the geom. So this geom is mostly what you are going to be working with throughout the notebook. So these are the process you follow. Then the next thing is to use the map underscore shapefile. So using this function, you'll be able to display the results of the shapefile in this format. So it will actually help you to display the results of the shapefile. So it will let you know where the shapefile you just loaded falls on the map. So it will help you know where there is using the map underscore shapefile format. Then the next thing is we normally also use the query object to define to load the data set from the cube. So with the query object, you normally use these coordinates. If you are using the X and Y bounds, normally define it using this particular variables or objects. But when you are trying to use polygons or shapefiles, you go with GeoPolygon. So instead of specifying the X range and the Y range, you go with GeoPolygon. And remember, when it comes to the GeoPolygon, you specify the geom. So in the previous example, from this function, you're able to load the shapefile into this geometry, to this geom variable. This is a variable, so you can name it anyhow you want. So when you come here, instead of using the X and Y, you use the GeoPolygon, then you specify the geom. This geom will actually help the function to know which area is supposed to load, which area data set is supposed to load. So instead of loading it for the whole Africa, using this GeoPolygon geom, it's actually going to load a particular area where that shapefile actually falls for you. So those are the data sets that are going to be loaded. So after loading all the data sets into your DS variable or any other variable, the next thing is to rasterize the shapefile that we had. You know, the shapefile that we imported was a vector. Shapefile is a vector file. So you have to convert it to raster. And that's when you use the XR rasterize function to convert the shapefile from vector to raster. So when you convert it to raster, the next function is to use the where function. So DS actually holds all the data sets that we've loaded using the query object. But right now we just want to only clip a particular area of interest where we are actually after. So to only get that area out, that's why we are going to use the dot where function. So using the where and also bringing the rasterized vector you've just done here, you'll be able to get only the area of interest that you are actually after. So looking at this particular function, this was our shapefile. So after going through the process and loading the image, the next thing was just to clip it out. So what you are seeing here is the only area we are actually interested in it. And that's where we've actually clipped that area out from the shapefile. So from here, once you clip it out, you can actually focus on only that area and work it out till you get your final results. Okay, so this is how to go through using the tools to make sure that you can work with shapefiles data into your platform and actually get the end product you actually want to work with. Okay, so this is where my presentation ends. Thank you very much. Any question?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello,
Is
sir.
that, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. My question is on the shape files.
Yeah.
Now there are some shape files you I don't know, but if we can get shape files from your end, as we discussed the other time, but there are some places you pick a shape file, but there will be no data on it on that particular area. Hello. Did you
Okay,
get my
so
point?
yeah, Wale. So one of the things that I noticed was the coordinate system of the shapefile. Normally, if the coordinate system of the shapefile does not match with the data sets that we have in the cube, although it will plot here for you, but when it goes to the cube, it won't actually know where it's supposed to overlay on the data set. So one of the things is make sure that the whatever you are importing, the shapefile and the data sets are within the same coordinate system. If they differ, you have to do reprojection at your end and make sure that it matches the data sets. Otherwise, it will actually falls outside. Although the map can decide it's actually this is where it falls, but because the data sets coordinate and the shapefile coordinates are different, when you are referencing it, it will project it to a different place, which will let you get a null data set returned.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Walter. Okay, so please, if there's any other question, or if any question comes up, you can let Ken and I know so that we can follow up with feedback on it. Also, probably we are making sure to make this tutorial available on the as part of the training materials, so that anytime you need it, you can reference to it and continue working with it. Okay, thank you very much. Over to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, Edward, for the good presentation. It was very enlightening, at least to get more feedback, also from like Wallace. We were joined by two persons, John Aaron and Meme Balde. Would you wish to introduce yourselves, please, and which organizations are coming from? Thank you. Mr. John Aaron. Meme Balde. Otherwise, thank you very much, everybody, for your participation. This is like 9th of December. So the question is, would you like to continue up to Christmas, or we break today, next week? Then also we'd like more feedback about the live sessions, what you would like to see in future sessions, like the presentations from Oguz and Edward. So the floor is yours for your comments. Thank you. So Wallace, are you happy we break today?
Hi.
David? Yes, sir.
Hi, Ken. Yeah, like for us, like I mentioned before, we will be going for recess from next week, Friday. And I take this time to invite you. I think after this, we'll be having the discussion with you and Edward. Maybe you can hang on the line. But I think going forward, maybe the frequency with of course a lot of other activities, maybe we can space it after every week. I mean, twice per month, that is, so that we can have this full participation. I realized last week quite a number of people were also not around. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you, David. Also, on the same suggestion, would today be the last one for you, so that it's wise to conclude today and everyone goes on a break, and the guys who are looking at the training materials can have more time also to finish on other work assignments. David, sir. Mr. David.
Yes, sir. I think yes, for me, I think this might. I know next week we'll be around. Definitely, we'll have to attend since Friday is our last day. I don't mind having a session next week.
Thank you, David, for that good response.
Is that okay?
Thank you, sir. Wallace, over to you, sir.
Okay, please, I would like to ask how far with the offline version of the system, if you can have an offline version to help us to get work done.
Edward, sir.
Sorry, Ken. I think right now, if you go to the training material, we have a section called download course content and the other information. So right now you can actually download it offline and use it offline. So if you go to the training.digital@africa.org, on your far left where you see the lessons, we have another section called other information. Once you are there, below it, you're going to see download course content. So if you click on that, you'll be able to download it and use it offline. Walter, please, have I answered?
Okay. Yes, please. I'm checking on it straight away.
Okay.
Because I'm having issues with internet. So I was on the view, if we can get it, once you have internet, you download whatever you want to get from the online version to the offline version, and then run it from there. Then when you get the internet, you sync and see how best your data is to get the online data, the historic. Hello, Edward. Please, you get my point.
Okay.
Hello, Edward and Ken.
Hello, Walter, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I was saying that
so
it would be good if you let all members know that the online version is available, and then so that we can they can have access to them. If any issues, we get it done during this training to see the way forward. Since it's going to
Okay.
be something we'll be using most of the time now, from now.
Yeah. Please, the offline is the course content, but to get access to the sandbox, that one you have to get internet. But the course content is now available offline. So anywhere you are, you can actually look through the course content without an internet. But with the sandbox, that one you need an internet to connect to it.
Okay, 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 okay. I think that's understandable.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Still, Wallace on the same line. Any feedback on the live sessions every week, twice a month?
I think for now, since we are getting work done, the once a week is okay to get things done. And then when everything is stable across the entire continent, we have everybody on board, we can make it once a month or twice a month. But for now, to for perhaps January, everything will come stable and we'll have everybody on the same page to proceed from there. At least one person from each place is getting on. As time goes on, we get people joining. So they'll learn from others and then pick it from there. Then to help us to have a lot on board to get things done and get issues being addressed as quick in time.
Thank you very much, Wallace.
I think so. Weekly for now, so
weekly might mean that today will be the last day based on the attendance. That's why I was trying to drive at, as most of you are attached. David is finishing on his work assignments, so I was trying to communicate slightly on that note, so that if we break today, the next session will be possibly in January 23rd. Would that be okay with you? At least you'll have some free time to prepare. August, you have some comments?
Kenneth, did you say January 23rd or January 3rd?
January 23rd, because I know the first week we need to see if our kids are going back to school or how the situation is going to be, traveling and all that stuff.
23rd. So you're saying we take about a month break?
It'll be like 3 weeks minus Christmas.
I see. I would recommend meeting weekly unless you are off, and then whoever comes can come. Maybe we'll have a couple of small sessions. I think not breaking the stride is important, because I think it's a lot easier to have something in the calendar weekly and repeat than to remember something that happens once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks. But it's whatever the users want is the important thing.
It's more like a recess for the users and participants. Yes, Wallace.
I think I will support August's point of having a weekly for everybody who will be able to come on, get issues addressed, and then we proceed from there. Once we get intense work from 23rd, as you suggested. Thank you.
Thank you, Wallace. Thank you, August. The other members in the room, Lighty, what is your preference? Live sessions? You want weekly, monthly, twice a month? We break today on 9th, back on 23rd January, or back on the most suitable one looks like the 13th of January. At least August will get some time to prepare the tutorials.
Good morning, everyone. So please, if you can repeat, I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, Bujuleti. The question is, we want to get feedback on the live sessions, and we are looking at most people, they have closed their offices, and maybe this could be our last session today. And we resume on January the 3rd week, giving you time to prepare your stuff and to get your certificates. Would that work with you? Monzuleti.
Yes, yes. So I recommend if you can't wait for January, it's good for me.
Okay.
So if you can wait to January to help us to prepare or to prepare.
Vacancy.
Vacancy, yes. Vacancy,
Aha.
yeah. Holidays.
We. Yeah, so it's also important for people to go on a small break. Thank you, lady. I understand these holiday. We cannot work up to 23rd. It will be a little bit tight for some of us. So I have a response from Wallace, David, and Leti. I want to hear from John, Aaron, and Meme Balde. But as you see, August, the feeling is this could be the last session or the next week.
As the group wants.
We can vote on the WhatsApp group because I think today we didn't have a quorum to stop the party. So I'll also do the same on the WhatsApp group to ask, but tentatively I was looking at having a break this week or next week and resuming the 2nd or 3rd week of January so that we're able to prepare more. So also the question was on the feedback on the live sessions. David would prefer twice a month. Wallace will be with the idea weekly. Leti, you'd like live sessions every week or every 2 weeks or once a month?
So every week.
Every week is fine. Okay. Otherwise, it was not, sorry to put you on the spot. It was just to get some feedback from you on the live sessions. One of the comments I got from Wallace is that we need to come up with every week, at least we present something from our side, like a tutorial of what we are doing or what we are working on. Then the other part, these live sessions are important because of your feedback on the use cases. David has been able to present in one of the cases, Wallace on the same. Lighty, maybe, have you finished the training materials and you received your certificate?
So you say to for me I present your what you want that I present.
Yes, once you have a use case from Dakar or CSE, some of the work you're doing in DE Africa, super
So
transaction, to travail with the DE Afrique.
so now give me 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like that.
Okay. So that tentatively will be January.
January, okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, yes.
Okay. So looking at the comments, I think we can continue on the WhatsApp group to get more feedback. Also on the same, thank you for joining us for this session. The users, Meme Baldi, if you're able to introduce yourself, we could connect with you later, see how we can add you on another social platform. But thank you very much for making the time for joining us today. That you'll be able to look at the training materials and get a certificate of completion. And thank you very much for your time. August, would you have any comments for the participants?
Just one comment, especially for David Ango. Last week, one of my developers, Brian, presented on how to use the Rich DEM library. David and you and some of the others may find that presentation useful. There should also be a notebook already checked in with that example from John Ratz. So that was a presentation on how to use the digital elevation model library and the digital elevation model stored in the data cube. So I know it was we didn't have that many people on, so I just wanted to put a reminder that that might be a good session to go through. And Edward, your presentation today is really useful. Thank you.
Thank you, all good. I'll have a look at it.
August.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for everyone for joining us today. I understand as the curve goes on, some of you have received their certificates, some of you are finishing on some work assignments here and there, and also very grateful that you've made the time to join us today. Thank you very much, and we'll
So,
vote
so
if to.
please,
Yes, sir. Yes,
please,
lady.
I have question for Mr. Edward.
Aha.
Yes, I have question. So when I try to import my shape file, I don't find the folder. So if I put for the folder, they make error. So now I want him. I see him to do something like that now. So it's not. I'm not getting what he is saying. So if you can repeat.
Okay, so if please, if you log on to the sandbox, let me. Hello, hello, Lighty.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, I want to point you to one of the weeks. It's actually take us through how to create a folder in the sandbox with one of the live sessions. So please let me find that one, and I think that one will be most helpful to you. Okay. Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello. I'm here.
Okay, so yeah, like it. So I've put a link in the chat. It's actually teach you how to create a folder in the sandbox. So if you're able to create that folder, then you copy the shape file into that folder.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we're happy. So please, if you have any problem or any challenges, just reach out to me on WhatsApp. Then we can follow up on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much, Edward, for that connection, and also possibly seeing an opportunity for more live demos in our next live sessions, so that to make more interaction, to see how we can move in between from the real world notebooks to the frequently used code. It will be very useful to see how we engage more on the live sessions, showing more demos, and also getting more feedback on your use cases. So thank you very much, David, for being our champion with the 3 use cases you presented so far. Wallace, you presented at least 2 use cases, one on wager and the farming in northeast Ghana. We are very grateful for your support, commitment. This is what will make us move forward, and the platform will be very useful for us here in Africa. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next week, or we vote on the WhatsApp group to get more feedback. Thank you very much for your time.